The voicemail blinked on my phone, 3 words in my mother's voice. "Come home, Isla." I replayed it twice. Her tone wasn't warm, not even gentle. It was practiced, like a business request. I stared at the dark window of my apartment, the reflection of a woman I barely recognized, hair tied tight, suit pressed, face calm, the kind of calm that hides bruises you can't point to. When I left Ohio 3 years ago, I told myself silence would hurt less than being ignored at the table. For a while, it worked. Work filled the hours, noise filled the silence, but tonight, her voice filled the room instead. I called her back before I could stop myself. "Mom." A pause, then the sound of dishes clinking. "Isla, I didn't think you'd pick up. You asked me to come. It's Thanksgiving. The family should be together. She said the family like I wasn't part of it. Is everyone coming, Mara? Elaine, Darren, the usual. The children, too. It would mean a lot to them." "To them," I repeated. She didn't notice. "It's been a long time. You could stay the weekend. I kept your room the same." I almost laughed. My room had been turned into a storage closet before I even left. But something in her voice, an unfamiliar tremor, stopped me. "I'll think about it," I said. "Don't take too long." The line clicked across the table. My phone buzzed again. Chloe Hart, my best friend, texted you okay. I typed, "Mom invited me home." Her reply came fast. "Careful. Success doesn't fix people who never saw you." I looked around my apartment floor-to-ceiling glass, the quiet hum of the city, a shelf of framed awards, everything I'd built to prove I was enough. Still, my hand trembled when I packed my bag. A first-class ticket, a designer coat, expensive gifts for everyone. Not showing off, I told myself. Just proof I still cared. Before bed, I replayed her voicemail one last time. "Come home, Isla." 3 words that felt less like an invitation and more like a test. Chloe called before sunrise. "Tell me you're not buying your way into that table. I'm buying my way out of silence." I said, "You're bringing gifts. I'm bringing proof I still care." "Care isn't merchandise," she said. "Set your boundary before they set your seat." "My seat was a stool," I said. "I remember exactly how low it was." She exhaled. "Then don't sit low again." The word again stung, and a memory opened like a bruise. Years earlier, I stood in the hallway while Sylvia adjusted the napkins. "Don't mention the Chicago offer," she said. "Tonight is about Mara's promotion." "I earned the offer," I said. "You earned family by showing up," she replied. Mara breezed in, phone to her ear. "Partnership isn't luck," she said to whoever was listening. She covered the mic. "Don't hijack the toast with your artsy news." Elaine tied an apron and smiled too sweetly. "I brought groceries. I can stay late to clean." That's what love looks like. Darren slung an arm around me. "You'll crush Chicago," he whispered. "Just don't say it at dinner." I breathed through my teeth. "So I shrink while she shines." Sylvia set the silverware like a judge placing evidence. "You make everything about you. Moving for a career isn't making everything about me." I said, "It is when your mother needs help." She said, "You didn't ask for help." I said, "I shouldn't have to," she answered. Mara raised her glass. "To family that stays," she said. I kept my hands in my lap. On another night, I folded acceptance papers at the kitchen counter. Sylvia folded laundry beside me. "Men don't marry women who forget their families," she said. I didn't forget. I said, "You prioritize strangers," she said. "I prioritize a life I built." I replied. Elaine lined pill bottles on a tray. "Some of us heal people," she said. "Some of us sell ideas. Marketing funds, hospitals." I said, "Love funds, mothers." Sylvia said. Darren took the papers from my hands. "You can always come back if it goes wrong," he said. "I'm not planning to fail." I said, "Planning doesn't keep the lights on," Sylvia said. It does when the plan works, I said. Mara kissed Sylvia's cheek. Don't worry. I'm nearby, she said. Some daughters understand duty, Sylvia murmured. My throat burned. Duty without respect is submission. You were never asked to submit, she said. You never had to ask, I said. The morning I left for Chicago, I hugged Darren on the porch. I'll call Sundays, I said. Call even when it's hard, he said. Sylvia waited by the doorframe, arms crossed. You could still look at positions in Columbus, she said. I signed the contract, I said. Then sign for the life you're forfeiting, she said. I'm signing for the life I'm choosing, I said. Mara loaded her trunk. Don't cry to me when rent eats you, she said. Elaine tucked a casserole into my hands. Warm it when the city makes you cold, she said. I looked at Sylvia. Say you're proud, I said. She pressed her lips. Be useful, she said. I put the casserole on the porch rail. I'll be visible, I said. Back in my apartment. Chloe's voice cut through the memory. You went there to be seen, and they dimmed the room. They taught me how to light my own. I said. Then don't hand them the switch, she said. My phone flashed Mom. I let it ring once before answering. Travel plans, Sylvia asked. I land on Wednesday, I said. Dinner will be at 5, she said. Mara has a scheduling conflict after 7. I'll be there. I said. Don't start arguments, she said. I'll start with honesty, I said. The children don't need scenes, she said. They need truth modeled, I said. A pause. Elaine is bringing dessert, she said. She always brings something. I'll bring myself, I said. Make sure that's enough, she said. It will be, I said. After the call, Chloe texted, bring a boundary stronger than any gift. I zipped my bag. I'm bringing both, I said to the empty room. The zipper bit shut like a vow. I landed in Columbus 2 days before Thanksgiving. The air tasted like cold metal and old memory. Sylvia's text waited before I even left the gate. Dinner Thursday at 5. Dress appropriately. I called Chloe from the rental car line. Tell me you packed armor, she said. Worse. I said. I packed hope. Hope gets eaten first at family dinners, she said. I'll survive. Don't perform, she said. Just exist. I've spent my life existing under their spotlight, I said. Then move it, she said. Point it back at yourself. The rental clerk slid the keys across the counter. Luxury SUV. Something solid, I said. I'm driving into a storm. By evening, I was in a boutique store downtown. The clerk folded a silk scarf into tissue. Gift, she asked. For my mother. Occasion, an experiment? I said. I bought presents for each of them, Mara's children, Elaine, Darren. The weight of the bags felt lighter than the years between us. At the hotel, I unwrapped everything on the bed. Tablets, perfumes, a watch engraved, You Matter. I stared at it until the words blurred. My phone buzzed again. From Sylvia. Mara might bring the pastor. Be careful with your words. I typed back, words are all I have left, then deleted it. Later that night, Chloe called again. You sound calm, she said. I'm rehearsing, I said. For what? For pretending the past didn't happen. That's not calm, she said. That's survival. Same difference, I said. I folded the scarf last. Pale ivory her color, not mine. Chloe's voice softened. You could still stay in Chicago. She asked me to come home. I said. She asked for control. She said, maybe this time. I'll bring the terms. The line went quiet. When I finally turned off the light, the room felt too large. The gifts waited like witnesses. I whispered into the dark, not sure if I meant it as prayer or warning. I'm coming home. Mom. Sylvia opened the door before I could knock twice. Her perfume reached me first expensive, sharp, familiar. You're early, she said. You said dinner at 5. It's 4:30. Punctuality is good, she said, but timing matters more. Her eyes scanned me head to toe. You look professional. I'm not at work, I said. You never stop being what you do, she said. That's your problem. Behind her. Mara's voice carried from the living room. Is that her? Who else? Sylvia said. Mara appeared. Hair perfect, phone in hand. City girl returns. She said. How's life among the billboards? Loud. I said, but honest. Elaine entered next, still in scrubs, smelling faintly of disinfectant. You made it, she said. Traffic must have been kind to you. I flew first class. I said, Of course you did, Mara murmured. Elaine smiled, but the edges cracked. That must be nice. Darren came from the kitchen, wiping his hands. She made it, he said warmly. Finally. He hugged me tight. For a second, the tension eased. Mara laughed. Careful. Darren, don't wrinkle her. Sylvia pointed to the foyer. Shoes off. Floors just polished. I obeyed, slipping into the house like a guest, not a daughter. The living room looked smaller, or maybe I'd outgrown the angle I used to see it from. My gifts sat in neat piles by the sofa. I brought a few things, I said. Mara raised an eyebrow. A few. Elaine peeked into a bag. This is a tablet for the kids, I said. They already have one. She said, now they'll have two. I said. Sylvia lifted a small box. Perfume. You used to wear it, I said. She put it down. I stopped for a reason. Darren smiled when I handed him a watch. It's beautiful, he said. You didn't have to. I wanted to, I said. Still, it's too much, Sylvia said. You always overdo. I just wanted to bring something meaningful. I said, meaning can't be bought. Mara said, I never said it could. I said. Elaine crossed her arms. We don't need charity. Isla. I didn't offer charity. I said. Then what is this? Sylvia asked. Connection. I said. She stared at me like she was searching for a lie. We were connected before you left. No, I said. You were connected to each other. I was convenient. Silence spread like dust. Darren broke it first. Dinner's almost ready. Sylvia clapped her hands once. Set the table. 8 places. Elaine counted the chairs. There are 7. Add 1, Darren said. The kids are in the den. Elaine said, Isla can use the stool. The words landed heavy. Sylvia didn't object. Mara smiled into her wineglass. The stool, I asked softly. It's tradition, Sylvia said. You've always sat there. I nodded, feeling the old wooden edges in memory. Tradition. I repeated. Darren hesitated. It's only for dinner. Only dinner, I said. I carried the stool from the kitchen. The legs creaked. The seat wobbled. I set it beside the table. Sylvia placed the silverware without looking at me. See, everything fits. Almost, I said. She looked up. What's missing? Respect, I said. No one answered. The sound of plates and forks filled the space where love should have been. The stool wobbled every time I breathed. I adjusted it quietly, but the sound still drew Sylvia's glance. Still restless. She said, still short. I said. Mara laughed softly. Some things don't change. Elaine passed the bread basket. Take some before the kids come back. They'll eat everything. I'm fine, I said. You're always fine, Sylvia said. That's your brand, isn't it? My brand pays your mortgage, I said before I could stop myself. Mara's fork froze mid-air. Elaine's smile stiffened. Darren coughed into his napkin. Sylvia's tone sharpened. We're not doing that tonight. Doing what I asked, making everything about money. I didn't bring it up. I said, you never have to. Mara said, you wear it. Better than pretending to have it. I said. Sylvia cut in. Enough. I bit my tongue. The taste of salt filled my mouth, and for a moment, I almost missed the silence I used to hate. Mara turned to Elaine. Did you tell Mom about the charity gala? The mayor stopped by our table. Sylvia brightened. Of course he did. He's known your husband for years. Elaine smiled faintly. I just try to help where I can. One of my patients started walking again last week. That's wonderful, Sylvia said. You two make me proud. Her eyes flicked toward me, then away. Darren cleared his throat. Isla, how's work in Chicago? I looked up, surprised, busy. We just launched a campaign that created 200 new jobs across Ohio and Michigan. That's nice, Elaine said. Mara dabbed her mouth with a napkin. Some people chase numbers, others chase meaning. Sylvia nodded. Family is what matters. You always forget that. Isla. I stared at my plate. Maybe I just measure it differently. Everything with you is measured, Sylvia said. Degrees, promotions, money. You raised me to count things. I said. Grades, chores, reasons to stay quiet. Elaine's voice softened. You left because you wanted more. I left because you never saw what I already was, I said. Mara set down her glass. Victimhood doesn't suit you, neither does hypocrisy, I said. Sylvia's hand struck the table. Enough. The plates rattled. The kids' laughter echoed faintly from the din. For a second, the room felt like a stage, and we were all trapped in our lines. Darren leaned forward. Maybe we can just... No, Sylvia said. We will have a civil meal. I smiled tightly. Civil is easy when one person stays silent. You always think silence is oppression, Sylvia said. Only when it's forced, I said. Elaine's voice trembled. Mom just wants peace. Peace built on hierarchy isn't peace, I said. Sylvia glared. Hierarchy. You think I enjoy managing ungrateful children? Mara laughed without humor. Maybe she's jealous. Chicago must feel small after being ignored here. I stood halfway, the stool scraping tile. I didn't come here to be measured by the inch again. Sylvia's tone dropped, controlled and cold. Then, sit down and act like family. I sat, the wood biting my legs. The laughter from the den swelled again. The table talk resumed safe topics, safe smiles. I watched them move through their choreography, all grace and performance. My voice had vanished somewhere between the first bite and the last word. When I finally spoke, it came out small but sharp. Some meals don't feed you, I said. They just remind you who's starving. Mara set down her glass with a click. There it is, the starving artist monologue. Except you're not starving and you're not an artist. I'm full of things I'm not, I said. Sylvia folded her napkin in half. You are not a victim. I am not invisible, I said. Elaine's smile cracked. Please, not tonight. Tonight is honest, I said. Mara tilted her head. Honest would be admitting you came to parade success. Honest would be admitting you came to ignore it, I said. Sylvia's eyes cooled. You confuse attention with love. You confuse control with care, I said. Darren leaned in, palms up. We can reset. Plates are still warm. I'm done eating what makes me small, I said. Mara laughed softly. Then stand up and loom. See if it changes anything. I stood. The stool scraped tile. A thin scream under everything. It changes the height of my voice. Sylvia's tone dropped a register. Sit down. No, I said. Elaine's hands fluttered toward me. You're making a scene. This house has lived on scenes, I said. I'm just refusing the quiet parts. Mara's mouth curved. Go ahead. Isla, make your case. My case is simple, I said. For the last 2 years, I have paid to keep this family from breaking. Forks stopped. Darren blinked first. Paid what the mortgage, I said. The power, the internet, groceries delivered every week, Darren's car insurance, the medical bills after Mom's surgery. Elaine shook her head. Mom owns the house. She did, I said. She sold it after the surgery. The payments went to a holding company and then back to her as rent. When she fell behind, she called me. Mara's laugh died on her tongue. You're lying. Sylvia, I said. Sylvia held the napkin like a banner. You are tasteless. The month you told me I was selfish, I said. I wired $1,200 to stop an eviction notice. I added $300 for power, $80 for internet, and $400 for groceries. Every month. On time. Elaine's voice barely carried. Every month. Every month. I said. Darren stared at his hands. My insurance $150? I said. You needed coverage to keep your job. I made sure you kept it. Mara turned to Sylvia. You let her do this. Sylvia's face didn't move. I didn't let anything. I asked my daughter for help. You told me help was duty. I said. You told me love did not come with bills attached. It doesn't, she said. Not real love. Then why did the bank have my number? I asked. Elaine looked lost. Mom, did you sell the house? Sylvia placed the napkin on the table, each edge perfect. There were expenses after the operation. It was temporary. You called me before the anesthesia wore off, I said. You called me when the notice came. You called me when the lights flickered last winter and blamed the storm. Mara's voice dropped its polish. So you bought your way to the center seat and still want applause. I bought nothing. I said. I kept the heat on. Sylvia rose slowly. You think money earns you love? No, I said. I thought love earned me a chair. I picked up the stool. The wood groaned like an old apology. I set it on the table, legs up, a crooked crown between the plates. Elaine flinched. Isla, please. Mara's smile returned, thin and mean. Performance art from the marketer. Darren stood halfway, then sank. Don't do something you can't take back. I'm doing something I should have done sooner, I said. I pulled out my phone. The banking app opened under my thumb, muscle memory and resentment braided together. I hit call and set the phone on speaker. A bright voice answered. Good evening, Keaton Financial. This is Maria. How can I help? My name is Isla Keaton, I said. I need to cancel several automatic payments effective immediately. Mara hissed. Turn it off. Sylvia lifted her chin. You will not embarrass this family. This family already did that, I said. Maria continued, cheerful and unaware. Absolutely. Which payments would you like to cancel monthly rent transfer to Keaton Holdings? $1,200. I said, electric to Ohio Edison, $300. Internet, $80. Grocery allowance to Sylvia Keaton, $400. Car insurance for Darren Keaton, $150. Darren's voice broke. Isla, wait. I'm not punishing you, I said to him. I'm ending a lie, Maria typed, keys whispering. Processing. Please confirm effective date. Today, I said. Sylvia braced both hands on the table. You will not cut us off in my home. You told me you didn't need my money. I said, prove it. Elaine stared at the stool between the serving platters. We could talk first. We had years, I said. Maria returned. All payments flagged for cancellation, pending your voice confirmation. I confirm, I said. Finalized. Maria said, confirmation emails will arrive within the hour. Is there anything else? No, I said. Thank you. The call clicked away. The room stayed loud with nothing. Mara spoke first, softer than I expected. You just orphaned yourself. I just refused adoption by debt. I said. Sylvia's voice was almost a whisper. You chose money over blood. I chose truth over pretense. I said. Darren's eyes were wet. How do we fix this by carrying what you eat? I said. By setting real chairs. No one moved. The stool stared down at all of us like a verdict. No one spoke after the call ended. The hum of the refrigerator filled the silence, steady and cruel. Sylvia broke first. You think this makes you strong? I think it makes me done. I said, you're punishing us. she said, because your feelings got hurt. My feelings kept this house warm, I said. My money kept your lights on. My silence kept your pride alive. Mara's voice snapped. You don't get to humiliate her. I didn't, I said. I paid her bills. I'm done pretending that's affection. Elaine's voice trembled. We never asked you for all that. You never had to, I said. You just expected it. Darren leaned forward, hands clenched. You could have told us. I tried. I said. You called it bragging. Sylvia straightened, her eyes bright with fury. You're not the savior of this family. You're the symptom. Then you should recover quickly, I said. Mara's chair scraped back. You walk out now. You don't walk back in. I stood. That's been true for years. Elaine wiped at her eyes. Please, just sit. Let's think before we... There's no thinking left, I said, only pretending, and I'm out of practice. Darren's voice softened. You're still my sister. I know, I said. That's why I'm not asking you to choose sides. Sylvia's jaw tightened. You came here to make a scene. Congratulations. You did. I came here to see if respect was still on the menu. I said. It wasn't. Mara hissed. You always had to have the last word. Not anymore. I said. I grabbed my coat from the chair behind me. The stool still sat on the table, its crooked legs catching the light. Sylvia's voice followed me to the doorway. You'll regret this. Isla. I turned. Maybe. But at least I'll regret something honest. Elaine whispered. Please don't go like this. I've already stayed too long, I said. The air outside hit cold and sharp. Behind me. The door closed. Through the window, I could see them still sitting there, 7 chairs, 1 stool, no balance left. 3 days passed before anyone called. Not Sylvia, not Mara, not Elaine. Darren finally broke the silence. They shut off the power, he said quietly. Mom's been using candles. She told me she didn't need my money. I said. She didn't mean it. He said. She meant every word. I said. He sighed. Elaine's paycheck barely covers the hospital's parking fees. Mara's card got declined at the grocery store. Mom's pretending it's all fine. Pretending is her religion. I said, I'm not defending her. He said, I'm just tired. So stop carrying her pride. I said, she's still our mother. He said, she's still mine too. I said, that's why I stopped paying to be her disappointment. A car horn blared through his phone. Mara called a family meeting tonight, he said. Without you. That's not new. I said, she wants to talk about suing you. I laughed once. For what, honesty? She's angry, he said. Mom's embarrassed. Elaine's crying all the time. They can all cry together. I said. He hesitated. You sound cold. I'm warm for the first time in years. I said. I don't want this to be the end. He said. It's not. I said. It's the middle. They just don't know it yet. That night, a photo arrived on my phone, a dark kitchen lit by a single candle, plates on the counter, Sylvia sitting alone at the table. The stool was gone. A second message followed. From Elaine. She still eats at 5. Still sets your place. My chest tightened, but I typed nothing back. Outside, snow began to fall against the city windows. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was watching from a distance. I felt like I'd finally stepped out of the picture. The phone rang just after midnight. The screen said Mom. I almost let it go dark. Then I answered. Her voice was smaller than I remembered. I went to the bank today. I stayed quiet. I saw the statements, she said. The amounts? The transfers. I didn't know. You knew enough to spend it, I said. Silence stretched. Then, softly, I was angry at the wrong thing. You were angry that I stopped being manageable. I said. I was angry that I needed you, she said. That's not a sin, I said. But hiding it was. She drew a shaky breath. The bills are real. We tried to split them, but even with everyone helping, it's tight. Mara still pretending she's fine? I asked. She's furious, she said. Elaine's exhausted. Darren keeps saying this isn't your fault. It isn't, I said. I told them that. She said. For once, they listened. Why are you calling me? Mom, I asked. Because the house feels empty, she said, and I finally know why. I pressed the phone closer. Say it, she hesitated. Because I made you earn love that should have been yours. The air in my apartment thinned. I'm sorry, she said. Not for losing the money, for losing you. I swallowed hard. If we start over, it has to be honest. It will be, she said. No secrets, no quiet deposits, no pretending. And if I help again, I said, it'll be clear, limited, agreed on. No guilt. I understand, she said. I don't want your money. I want my daughter back. I exhaled. Then stop calling me when you need saving. Call me when you need to talk. She gave a faint laugh that cracked in the middle. I can do that. Good, I said. Neither of us hung up for a long time. Her breathing steadied. Matching mine. For the first time in years, it didn't sound like control. It sounded like surrender. 6 months later, I pulled into the same driveway. The air smelled cleaner, like something had finally cleared. Darren met me halfway down the path. You actually came back, he said. I said I would. I said, Mom's been different. He said, she called every Sunday, I said. That's different enough. He smiled. She even cooks without announcing it's a sacrifice. Inside, voices floated from the dining room, Mara and Elaine arguing quietly, not sharply. Sylvia's voice cut in, softer than I'd ever heard. It doesn't have to be perfect, just ready. When I stepped in, Mara stopped talking first. Elaine blinked like she wasn't sure I was real. Sylvia looked at me, then at the table. 8 chairs. All the same height. I wasn't sure you'd come, she said. I wasn't sure you'd ask, I said. I didn't want to ask, she said. But I wanted to mean it. Mara cleared her throat. We planned together this time. Elaine nodded. No one carried more than they could. Darren gestured toward the seat beside Sylvia. Yours, if you want it. I sat. The wood didn't wobble. No one towered above me. Sylvia placed a bowl in front of me. Your favorite, she said. I had to call you twice for the recipe. I smiled. You could have Googled it. I wanted to hear your voice, she said. Mara leaned back. We all did. Elaine nudged her. Some of us admitted it sooner. Sylvia's hand trembled slightly as she reached for mine. You were right, she said. Respect isn't a reward. It's a rule. I squeezed her fingers once. Then we keep it. The conversation turned light stories, laughter, no scorekeeping. When dinner ended, I stood to help clear the table. Sylvia stopped me. Leave it, she said. You've done enough. I looked around. The stool from last Thanksgiving stood by the window, a small plant blooming on top. Darren caught my glance. Mom wouldn't let us throw it out, he said. She said it already learned its lesson. Mara added. I smiled. So did we.